Imagine stepping into the most unexplainable frontiers of our planet, places so surreal they feel engineered by something far beyond nature. At Veria geothermal field in Iceland, the Earth breathes through boiling mud pools and hissing steam vents, creating a landscape that looks more like the surface of another planet than our own. Beneath Korea's Jeju lava tubes, ancient rivers of molten rock carved tunnels so vast and precise, they resemble architecture rather than geology. And in Japan's Ashikaga Flower Park, entire corridors of blooming wisteria form natural cathedrals of shifting color and light that seem impossible to exist outside of a dream. Today, we journey into these extraordinary realms, each one challenging our assumptions about how Earth is supposed to look, feel, and behave. These are places where science meets mystery, where natural laws stretch to their limits, and where reality feels just unfamiliar enough to spark wonder. So take a breath, steady your curiosity, and step with me into landscapes where the Earth stops feeling familiar and starts feeling like another world entirely. Veria geothermal field, Iceland. At the foot of Namafjall in northern Iceland lies Veria, one of the planet's most intense geothermal hotspots. Beneath this barren plateau, superheated water meets volcanic rock, driving temperatures that can soar above 390 degrees Fahrenheit. The ground itself becomes a living organism, mud pots bubbling in thick grey pulses, fumaroles blasting steam with the force of several hundred pounds of pressure, and mineral-rich earth stained in surreal reds, yellows, and oranges. Veria sits along the mid-Atlantic ridge, where the Eurasian and North American tectonic plates pull apart by about 1 inch every year. That slow separation fuels a geothermal system powerful enough to heat thousands of homes in nearby towns. With its boiling cauldrons, toxic gases, and crust only a few inches thick in places, Veria is both mesmerizing and dangerous. It's one of the few landscapes on Earth that still feels primordial, raw, volatile, and unmistakably alive. Spotted Lake, Kliluk, Canada. Hidden in the dry hills of British Columbia lies Spotted Lake, or Kliluk, one of the most unusual natural formations in North America. During the heat of summer, the lake evaporates until only hundreds of circular pools remain, each one a different shade of blue, green, yellow, or white. These spots form because the water holds some of the highest natural mineral concentrations on Earth, including magnesium sulfate, calcium, and sodium. As temperatures climb above 90 degrees Fahrenheit, minerals crystallize and harden, creating perfect round basins that look almost engineered. For the Syilx First Nations people, this lake has been sacred for more than 1,000 years, believed to hold healing properties in its mineral-rich waters. Even today, the patterns shift with the seasons, with mineral circles growing, shrinking, and changing color as if the lake were alive. Spotted Lake is a rare reminder that nature can create geometry more precise and more mysterious than anything built by human hands. Mount Etna, perched on the east coast of Sicily, is Europe's tallest active volcano, reaching nearly 10,900 feet in height. What makes Etna extraordinary is not only how high it stands, but how alive it remains. Scientists have recorded more than 200 eruptions in written history, dating back to 1500 BC. In 1669, Etna unleashed its most powerful historic eruption, spewing nearly 830 million cubic meters of lava, reshaping the landscape and flowing all the way into nearby towns. Today, roughly 88% of Etna's surface is covered by more than 350 distinct lava flows, a record of relentless geological activity. Etna's 4 summit craters, including the southeast crater, which has grown significantly in recent decades, constantly shift in height with each burst of magma. This is not just a mountain, it's a living laboratory, a massive molten engine of nature, and one of the most studied volcanoes on Earth. Diamond Beach is the name international travelers have given to a stretch of black sand along Iceland's south coast, an otherworldly shoreline where ancient ice meets volcanic fire. Its name comes not from real gemstones, but from the way sunlight strikes the crystal-clear ice chunks, making them shimmer like scattered diamonds against the jet-black sand. These glacial fragments break away from the vast Breiðamerkurjökull glacier, drift through the icy lagoon, and are carried out to sea before the waves return them to shore. Many of these floating diamonds were formed hundreds, sometimes thousands of years ago, compressed deep within the glacier's core. The beach has become a legendary destination for photographers drawn by the perfect contrast of blue ice, white foam, and dark volcanic sand. Jeju Lava Tubes, Korea. Beneath the volcanic island of Jeju, South Korea, lies a hidden world known as the Jeju Lava Tubes, one of the largest and most extensive lava tube systems on the planet. Carved more than 3,000 years ago during eruptions of Halasan, the island's central volcano, these tunnels were once rivers of molten rock flowing with incredible force, shaping passages that twist and stretch for over 20 miles underground. Some chambers soar more than 40 feet high, with ceilings and walls lined with stalactites, stalagmites, and rare lava formations frozen in time. Manjangul Cave, the most famous tube, offers wide, walkable passages, while narrower tunnels reveal the raw, untamed power of volcanic flows, leaving visitors in awe of nature's engineering. Recognized as a UNESCO World Natural Heritage Site, the lava tubes preserve a remarkable record of Jeju's fiery past. Seven Sisters Cliffs, United Kingdom. Along the southern coast of England, the Seven Sisters Cliffs rise in a dramatic sweep of pure white chalk, forming one of the most striking shorelines in the United Kingdom. These cliffs were shaped over tens of millions of years, built from the compressed remains of ancient sea creatures that once drifted through a warm, prehistoric ocean. Today, they tower nearly 200 feet above the English Channel, their brilliant white faces constantly carved and renewed by wind, storm, and tide. The 7 distinct peaks, named for their graceful, wave-like pattern, stretch for several miles, offering sweeping views of rolling green hills meeting the bright blue sea. Erosion causes the cliffs to retreat by a few feet each decade, making this a landscape that is always changing, always being reborn. From the iconic Coast Guard cottages viewpoint to the wind-swept downs above them, the Seven Sisters Cliffs embody the rugged beauty of England's southern coast, wild, luminous, and endlessly shaped by the power of nature. In the heart of Tochigi Prefecture lies Ashikaga Flower Park, a place where Japan's legendary wisteria transforms the landscape into a living dream. The park is home to more than 1,600 flowering trees, but its greatest treasure is a massive wisteria estimated to be over 150 years old. Its branches stretch across an area roughly the size of a small house, supported by an intricate trellis that allows thousands of blossoms to hang like waterfalls of purple light. Each spring, more than 1 million visitors come to witness the park's Garden of Illuminated Flowers, where tunnels of wisteria and fields of azaleas, peonies, and roses glow under gentle evening lights. The scents shift with every step, from soft sweetness to deep floral warmth, creating an immersive atmosphere unlike anywhere else in Japan. Ashikaga Flower Park is not just a garden. It is a natural cathedral where color, fragrance, and light blend into one unforgettable sensory experience. Along the edge of southwestern Africa lies the Namib Desert Coast, one of the most haunting and surreal landscapes on Earth. Often called the Skeleton Coast, this shoreline stretches for nearly 500 miles, where towering dunes, some rising more than 1,000 feet, collapse directly into the Atlantic Ocean. It is one of the oldest deserts in the world, believed to have existed for more than 55 million years, shaped by powerful winds, shifting sands, and cold ocean currents. Here, dense fog rolls in almost every morning, created when the frigid Benguela Current meets the desert's scorching air, dropping temperatures by 20 degrees in a matter of minutes. This fog is the main source of water for the region's unusual wildlife, including desert-adapted elephants, oryx, and the rare welwitschia plant, which can live for over 1,000 years. Shipwrecks lie scattered along the coast, slowly being swallowed by sand. Together with the endless dunes and roaring surf, they create a landscape both beautiful and unforgiving, a place where the desert meets the sea in dramatic, impossible contrast. In the Canadian Rockies of Alberta lies Lake Abraham, a reservoir that transforms each winter into one of the planet's most mesmerizing, frozen wonders. As organic material on the lake bed breaks down, it releases methane that rises slowly through the water. When winter temperatures drop to 20 degrees below 0 Fahrenheit, the lake freezes in layers, trapping these gas pockets in thousands of bright, milky white disks suspended in crystal-clear ice. Some bubble stacks extend more than 6 feet downward, forming towering, frozen columns, while long fractures streak across the surface like veins of deep blue glass. The winds that sweep through the valley polish the ice until it becomes perfectly transparent, allowing visitors to peer straight into the frozen depths. Though stunning, the phenomenon is powerful. In warmer months, escaping methane can ignite if exposed to flame. Hidden deep within the remote Ural Mountains of the Komi Republic, the Manpupuna Pillars, also known as the Seven Strong Men, are among Russia's most mysterious natural monuments. Seven massive stone towers, rising 30 to 42 meters high, stand isolated on a windswept plateau as if they were the remnants of an ancient, vanished world. They were shaped over millions of years as relentless ice, wind, and snow eroded the softer surrounding rock, leaving behind only these towering, weather-resistant giants. For the indigenous Mansi people, this site is sacred. Legend says the pillars are actually giants turned to stone after being punished by the gods for crossing the Urals. The blend of myth, surreal landscape, and extreme isolation, reachable only by long overland treks or helicopter, gives Manpupuna an otherworldly aura. Carved over millions of years by wind, sand, and time, Wadi Rum is a vast desert wilderness in southern Jordan often called the Valley of the Moon. Towering sandstone and granite mountains rise more than 1,600 feet above the desert floor, creating a maze of cliffs, arches, and deep canyons that look almost extraterrestrial. Its iconic red sands get their color from iron-rich minerals, giving the entire valley a surreal glow at sunrise and sunset. Wadi Rum has been home to Bedouin tribes for thousands of years, and their rock carvings, some over 12,000 years old, still appear on canyon walls. The region gained global fame as the base of T.E. Lawrence during the Arab Revolt, and later became a cinematic playground, featuring in films like The Martian and Dune for its Mars-like terrain. Despite its harsh climate, the desert teems with resilient life, from Arabian oryx to desert foxes. Hidden deep within the Dolomite Mountains of northern Italy, Lake Serapis is one of the most mesmerizing alpine lakes in Europe. Its water glows an unreal shade of milky turquoise, created by fine glacial sediments, called rock flour, suspended in the lake. Sitting at an elevation of nearly 7,000 feet, Serapis is surrounded by vertical limestone towers, including the dramatic Finger of Serapis that rises like a stone guardian above the shoreline. Reaching the lake requires a challenging hike of roughly 4 miles along narrow ledges and forested trails, which adds to its sense of secrecy and reward. When sunlight hits the surface, the water turns into a shimmering pastel mirror, reflecting jagged peaks that formed over 200 million years ago. Lake Serapis has become a favorite for photographers and trekkers, offering one of the most cinematic mountain scenes in Italy, a surreal turquoise gem floating in a world of stone and sky. Deep inside Nambung National Park, on Australia's western coast, the pinnacle fields stretch across a golden desert like an alien stone forest. Thousands of limestone pillars rise from the sand, some only a few feet tall, others reaching nearly 10 feet. Each sculpted over 25,000 years by wind, rain, and the slow retreat of ancient seas. Their jagged shapes, smooth spires, and hollowed cores make the landscape feel almost lunar, as if gravity or time behave differently here. Formed from compacted seashells and coastal dunes, the pinnacles were once buried beneath layers of shifting sand before erosion exposed them again, revealing this surreal maze of natural monuments. Remote, mysterious, and visually otherworldly, the Pinnacle Fields stand as one of Earth's most striking geological galleries, proof that the desert can carve its own cathedral out of wind, sand, and deep time. Hidden deep within Zion National Park in Utah, the Narrows is one of the most iconic slot canyon hikes in the United States. Carved over millions of years by the Virgin River, this corridor of towering sandstone walls squeezes to less than 20 feet across in places while soaring nearly 1,000 feet overhead. The result is a cathedral-like canyon where light turns into gold, shadows stretch into blue, and the river becomes the trail itself. Hikers wade through cool, flowing water as the canyon shifts around them, sometimes opening into amphitheaters of orange stone, sometimes tightening into twisting hallways polished smooth by centuries of erosion. Despite its serene beauty, the Narrows is shaped by powerful forces. Flash floods can transform the river within minutes, and the canyon's smooth floors and deep pools demand careful footing. Saltstraumen, located near the town of Bodø in northern Norway, is home to one of the strongest tidal currents on Earth. Every 6 hours, as the tide shifts, nearly 400 million gallons of seawater rush through a narrow channel less than 150 feet wide. The result is a violent, mesmerizing display of whirlpools, boiling eddies, and swirling vortexes, some reaching over 30 feet across. This extreme movement happens because the massive Skjærstad Fjord pushes water through the tight strait with immense force, creating currents that can reach speeds of over 20 miles per hour. From the cliffs above, the water appears alive, twisting itself into spirals and spiraling columns that rise and collapse in seconds. Saltstraumen is not only a natural spectacle, but also a thriving marine hotspot. The churning waters bring nutrients to the surface, attracting huge schools of fish and making the area a legendary destination for anglers. Hidden within the lush western Ghats of Maharashtra, Maleshwar Waterfall is a dramatic blend of sacred culture and raw nature. Cascading from cliffs that tower hundreds of feet above dense forest, the waterfall transforms into a roaring white curtain during the monsoon season, when rainfall in the region can exceed several dozen inches in just a few months. Just beside the falls lies the ancient Maleshwar Cave Temple, dedicated to Lord Shiva. To reach it, visitors follow a stone path cut into the mountainside, offering sweeping views of the surrounding green peaks and deep river valleys. During festivals like Mahashivratri, the site becomes a pilgrimage point, with devotees climbing the trail to honor the sacred shrine. At the foot of the Black Quilin Mountains on the Isle of Skye, the fairy pools shimmer like a chain of liquid gemstones scattered across a raw volcanic valley. Fed by ice-cold mountain streams, these pools are famed for their unbelievable clarity. Water so transparent it appears almost invisible, revealing smooth stones and deep sapphire blue basins carved over thousands of years. The dramatic landscape around them was shaped by ancient volcanic eruptions and relentless highland weather, giving the valley its stark ridges and dark, jagged peaks. As the light shifts, the pools transform from pale turquoise to deep teal, with small waterfalls linking each crystal basin in a perfect cinematic cascade. Although the water rarely rises above 40 degrees Fahrenheit, wild swimmers and photographers travel from around the world to experience its otherworldly beauty. In the alpine region of South Tyrol, Lake Riesia hides one of Europe's most surreal sights, a lone medieval bell tower rising straight from the water. The tower, built in the early 14th century, is all that remains of the village of Couronne, which was intentionally flooded in 1950 to create a hydroelectric reservoir. More than 160 families were displaced, their homes submerged beneath the expanding lake, yet the stone campanile refused to disappear. Today, the bell tower stands as a haunting monument to the past, its reflection shimmering across turquoise water, framed by the peaks of the Italian Alps. Legend says that on quiet nights, some people still hear the bells ringing, even though the bell was removed decades ago. In the dry grasslands west of Varna, Pobiti Kamani, often called the Stone Desert, unfolds as one of Europe's strangest natural landscapes. Scattered across more than 5 square miles, hundreds of hollow stone columns rise from the sand like the ruins of an ancient city. Many stand over 20 feet tall, yet they were not crafted by human hands. These pillars formed more than 50 million years ago, when this region lay beneath a prehistoric sea and mineral-rich water slowly cemented sand into towering, tube-like structures. What makes them especially mysterious is their internal structure. Many pillars are completely hollow, their walls made of loosely packed limestone that crumbles under touch. Wind erosion eventually exposed them, leaving this open-air forest of stone columns that look almost extraterrestrial. Legends claim the site once hosted giants or forgotten temples, while scientists still debate the exact processes behind their unusual formation. In the remote region of Jangnyedangsea, Gansu Province, the Rainbow Mountains rise as a kaleidoscope of colors, creating one of the most visually stunning landscapes on Earth. Over 24 million years, layers of red sandstone and mineral deposits were pressed, folded, and uplifted by tectonic activity, producing stripes of vibrant reds, oranges, yellows, and greens across rolling hills and jagged peaks. The colors are not painted. They are a natural archive of geological time, each hue representing a different era of sediment deposition. Sunlight transforms the mountains throughout the day. Soft morning light deepens reds, while afternoon rays bring out vivid oranges and greens, giving the peaks an almost surreal, otherworldly glow. Stretching for more than 100 miles, the Rainbow Mountains are a UNESCO-protected geological park, attracting photographers, hikers, and scientists alike. On Egypt's Red Sea coast, near the town of Dahab, lies the Blue Hole, a legendary underwater sinkhole that has fascinated divers and scientists alike. The hole plunges to a depth of nearly 400 meters, with a nearly vertical drop that begins just a few meters from the sandy seabed. Its strikingly circular entrance, roughly 60 meters wide, opens into a deep blue abyss that contrasts sharply with the lighter turquoise waters surrounding it. Formed over tens of thousands of years, the blue hole is a natural limestone collapse connected to a shallow coral reef, creating a surreal gateway from shallow reef dives into the mysterious deep. While renowned for its beauty, the site is also notorious for its dangers. Strong currents, deep passages, and the sheer vertical drop have claimed many lives, earning it the nickname Divers Cemetery. In the heart of Australia's Northern Territory, Karlu, also known as the Devil's Marbles, rise from the red desert like giant sun-baked eggs scattered across the plains. These massive granite boulders range from several feet to more than 30 feet in height and are perfectly balanced atop one another, some appearing poised to tumble at any moment. Formed over hundreds of millions of years, the boulders were shaped by erosion, weathering, and temperature shifts that cracked and rounded the rock into smooth, almost sculptural forms. Karlu is sacred to the Aboriginal Alyawara and Kaitetje peoples who believe the stones are imbued with ancestral spirits. Legends speak of these massive rocks as living beings, and ceremonies are still performed here today. Along the quiet shores of Crowley Lake in eastern California, a surreal row of stone pillars stands like the remains of an ancient cathedral. These columns, many rising more than 20 feet, were born from a massive volcanic eruption about 750,000 years ago, when the Long Valley supervolcano covered the region in hot ash. Over time, heated groundwater hardened vertical tubes within the ash layers, creating stronger shafts surrounded by softer rock. When Crowley Lake was formed in the 1940s, waves slowly carved into the shoreline and revealed the hidden columns. Today they stretch in long, arched corridors, smooth, pacey, almost perfectly symmetrical, making them appear sculpted rather than naturally formed. High on a remote Utah plateau at 1,800 meters above sea level, the square rocks of Muley Point rise like a giant natural chessboard. Each boulder measures 2 to 5 meters wide, 1 to 3 meters tall, and sits 1 to 4 meters apart with astonishing precision. Their near-perfect geometry blurs the line between nature and human design, though they were shaped over millions of years by sandstone fracturing and erosion. Fewer than 50 people visit this isolated spot each year, adding to its mystery and remoteness. As the sun moves across the sky, shadows shift across the stones, creating dynamic patterns of light and color. Muley Point is more than a stunning landscape. It is proof that Earth can sculpt wonders that seem impossible, a place where geology defies expectation and imagination falters. Now we head to the misty coast of Normandy, France, where a fairy tale island rises from the sea. Mont Saint-Michel. From a distance, it looks like something out of a dream. A medieval abbey perched high above the waves, surrounded by shifting tides that make it appear and disappear with the rhythm of the ocean. Built over 1,000 years ago, Mont Saint-Michel is both a fortress and a place of worship. Its winding stone streets, soaring spires, and ancient walls seem frozen in time. When the tide rushes in, the island becomes completely surrounded by water, creating one of the most magical sights in all of Europe. Legend says the Archangel Michael himself instructed a bishop to build this sanctuary atop the rock. Whether you believe in divine inspiration or human brilliance, there's no denying the wonder of this place. Standing here, with the sea shimmering below and the abbey glowing above, you can't help but feel like you've stepped into a story that's been alive for centuries. Deep in Chestnut Ridge Park, near Buffalo, New York, a 30-foot, 9-meter waterfall hides a secret. A tiny flame just 6 to 8 inches, 15 to 20 centimeters tall, burning endlessly behind the rushing water. Known as Eternal Flame Falls, it's one of nature's rare contradictions, fire and water existing together. Legends say the flame was lit by the Earth's spirit, but science reveals a deeper truth. Beneath the shale bedrock, methane gas seeps from pockets formed over 350 million years ago. When sparked, perhaps by lightning or ancient travelers, it ignited and has burned ever since. Hikers trek about 1 mile, 1.6 kilometers, through forest trails to see the surreal glow. The air carries a faint scent of gas, the rocks glisten with mist, and the flicker of orange light dances against the cool blue stream. High in the misty mountains of northern Luzon lies one of humanity's most remarkable creations, the Banawe Rice Terraces. Often called the eighth wonder of the world, these breathtaking terraces were carved into the mountainsides more than 2,000 years ago by the Ifugao people, using only simple tools and boundless determination. Stretching like green stairways to the sky, the terraces follow the contours of the mountains with perfect harmony. During the planting season, the paddies shimmer like mirrors, reflecting the clouds, and when the harvest comes, the entire valley glows in shades of gold. But beyond their beauty, these terraces are a symbol of human ingenuity, a living example of how people can live in balance with nature. The irrigation system, fed by mountain streams, still works flawlessly after millennia. In northeastern Brazil lies Lençóis Maranhenses National Park, a landscape so surreal it seems otherworldly. Covering approximately 1,500 square miles, this region is a vast expanse of white sand dunes interspersed with thousands of crystal-clear freshwater lagoons that form during the rainy season from January to June. Unlike typical deserts, Lençóis Maranhenses is alive. The lagoons can reach depths of 3 meters, about 10 feet, reflecting the sky like giant mirrors, while the dunes shift constantly with the wind, creating patterns that change daily. Rainfall averages 1,200 millimeters, 47 inches per year, providing the water that fills these ephemeral lakes. The area is home to unique wildlife, including fish that survive in the temporary lagoons by burrowing into the sand until the next rainy season. For visitors, the park offers endless hiking and kayaking opportunities, but the terrain is challenging. Sand can be soft, and temperatures soar above 104 degrees Fahrenheit in peak season. Perched along the southern edge of Italy's Sorrentine Peninsula, the Amalfi Coast is where the mountains plunge dramatically into the sea, and beauty itself seems to have found a permanent home. This 50-kilometer stretch of coastline is a masterpiece of color and contrast, pastel villages clinging to cliffs, lemon groves cascading toward turquoise waters, and winding roads that seem to float above the Mediterranean. Every curve reveals a postcard, the elegance of Positano, the serenity of Ravello, the timeless charm of Amalfi. But beyond its breathtaking views lies an unmistakable spirit, the scent of sea salt and citrus in the air, the hum of vespers, and the laughter that spills from seaside cafes at sunset.